We certainly, as I said, spoke about the challenges in Iran. We talked about the CENTCOM decision that Secretary Shanahan and the President approved to move 1,000 more Americans into theater to make sure that we're in a position to do the right thing, which is to continue to work to convince the Islamic of Iran that we are serious and to deter them from further aggression in the region. It's been our mission since the beginning of this administration to convince the Iranian regime not to move forward with their nuclear program and not to continue to engage in development of their missiles and all the other activities, the malign activities that they've been engaged in around the world. That's why we put in place the pressure campaign that's now been ongoing for a year and a couple months. It's been very effective, and now we need to make sure that we continue to do that so that we ultimately get the opportunity to convince Iran that it's not in their best interest to behave in this way. We all have to remember this isn't just 2.5 years or 5 years. This is 40 years of Iranian activity that has led us to this point. And to reestablish deterrence is a challenge, but one that I know the Trump administration is up to. And we're working hard each and every day, both in the State Department and the Department of Defense and all of the elements of the United States government to achieve that. And with that, I'm happy to take a couple questions. Yes, ma'am.
Either directly or through third parties with Iran to try and deconflict the situation in the Persian Gulf?
Almost certainly. President Trump had sent President Abe to take a message of his to the leadership in Iran. You have to remember, these are messages for the leadership. I think the Iranian people are being woefully misserved by that leadership. But yes, we're engaged in, we have been engaged in many messages, even this moment right here, communicating to Iran that we are there to deter aggression. President Trump does not want war, and we will continue to communicate that message while doing the things that are necessary to protect American interests in the region.
Germany have asked for additional proof. I'm sorry, Japan and Germany have asked for additional proof of the attack on the tankers, and you said Sunday that you were going to provide that. When are we expected to see that?
Yeah, we'll continue to provide additional information about those attacks, but we shouldn't focus on just those two attacks. Since the beginning of May, there are now over a half dozen different instances of Iranian attacks in the region. Some thwarted, some not successfully thwarted, and actually they had an impact. But I saw, just as I walked in here, Chancellor Merkel say that she thought there was strong evidence that Iran had engaged in this activity. We'll continue to work with partners all around the world. It's worth reminding everyone here, you have China that depends enormously on energy transiting the Strait of Hormuz. You have South Korea, Indonesia, Japan, all of whom have an enormous interest in ensuring there's freedom of navigation throughout this waterway. The United States is prepared to do its part, but every nation that has a deep interest in protecting that shipping lane so that energy can move around the world and support their economies needs to make sure they understand the real threat to their interests in the region and the real threat to their country's economies if we're not successful in doing that.